coming to my next question, um, electric mobility, as you must have seen, is on the rise in India, especially with so many government initiatives like the FAME scheme and the FAME 2
Yeah.
subsidies, which are being given out. Can you shed light on the importance of the supporting infrastructure, such as charging, life cycle of batteries, and swapping stations as well? You can probably give ideas from the already existing good practices from Switzerland and Europe.
I think this is, we are now in a turning point. People start accepting electric vehicle here in Switzerland more because of the performance they have, and because they're actually cheaper and they look very nice. And so I think in India, FAME 2 is doing a great job to create this basic uptake. I'm also sure that long term, the advantage of electric vehicles over gasoline vehicles will be dominating, and then you will see also, because of the decrease of price of batteries, it will be also competitive in pricing. But what we need to do, and what authority is doing here in Switzerland, is actually to create a framework or an infrastructure which is supporting this uptake. Swiss government, for example, has decided through 2 years ago that they actually wanted to have along all the highways in Switzerland high power charging stations. So all, normally in highways you can go out and have a break. So all these places now have high power charging stations. So it makes it possible to go with your electric vehicle through Switzerland, and you have within 30 kilometers always a high power charging station. This is something which is important. The next thing is, we have to make it also possible, because over 70% of charging is done at home. We have to make it possible that charging at home becomes easy. So in Switzerland, one of the key factors here is that you can make it possible to people who live in rental conditions. So they have a rental flat, and that they have a parking space somewhere in a garage, and they have to ask basically the owner of the house that I can have a charging station there. So make this easier by incentive schemes is one thing Switzerland does. And I think this is what we have to concentrate now on, to create the eco climate, basically, so that electric vehicle is not hindered. Swapping batteries is interesting approach, I think, for two-wheelers or so that's something we've done in Switzerland. There are, especially for tourism, they're renting out electric bikes, and they have swapping station everywhere so that you have an extended range. For electric vehicles in itself, it becomes a little bit cumbersome because the weight of the battery is big, and there is always this special, let's say, their form factor is different. So, one manufacturer to the other, this is more difficult. And to round it up, and I think it's very important, we mentioned it several times, and I think government here also a leading role to play, is that the uptake of electric vehicles means an uptake in battery production, but it means also that in a few years we will see a huge amount of batteries coming back from the market. They're either still in a very good shape because the car broke down earlier than the battery, which is starting to be the normal, and could be used in second life or second use application. So we have to create basically a tracking system that batteries are actually not going to landfill. We have to create basically a battery passport so that we know what's the remaining value of the battery. This is some technical approach which we can take. So how to determine easily what is the value of the battery. And finally, we also have to create a recycling industry who's not just downcycle the material by crushing it and then just making lower value material, but we have to upcycle the material. So whatever we can, we have to take it out, refurbish other batteries, or use the batteries in second life. So this is what now in Switzerland started. We have different initiatives for setting up a second life, second use and recycling industry. And that's also something which I think India can profit a lot, and in a way has also, what is my experience, I see there's a lot of reuse. You're very well aware that resources are valuable, and you don't want to throw it away, and you really use actually a lot of the resources. So I see big opportunities there too.
Thanks again for that comprehensive answer, Professor. And definitely India has a lot of potential, especially since it's a cost-sensitive market and the two-wheeler market is quite big. So battery swapping, robust technologies in that sector would play a huge role. But of course, we need to still develop the battery tech as well, which I think India at the moment is currently lacking.